All right, well, I have a couple case fixed blades here. As we can see here, this is the 5-inch case Hunter. I've also seen it labeled as utility Hunter. It's got a 5-inch blade, stainless steel with the stacked leather, as we can see. Very nice knife, isn't it? I mean, I really like it. One thing I don't really care about these sheaths is if you did wear it on the right-hand side, it'd be facing this way right here, right? And brush and different things. Look how wide that hangs out from there. You know? And brush, branches, different things can quite possibly open that. It is a nicely made sheath. I'm just not too big of a fan on that. But you can always get an aftermarket sheath. And here's what's called the mini fin. So we got a blade, obviously that's 5 inches. This here's a little bit over 3 inches. Neat little knife. What I, usually for Father's Day or my father's birthday, which is at the end of the month here, being May 29th, it'll be. And I always get them, usually it's some sort of case folder. It could be a sodbuster, could be a muskrat, could be a medium stockman, you name it. In the case lineup, I've gotten him quite a bit throughout the years. He does like to carry a K-bar for a fixed blade, but he's in his 70s and he's finding that, it can be a little too big, especially when sitting down, doing different things. He doesn't really like it. So he wanted a smaller knife, and I figured, well, what the heck, this ought to be pretty small. And it is pretty small. And I want to sort of put that into context for you. This is a case large Stockman. I've had this knife for a number of years. Been with me everywhere. Love it. It is just a solid performing knife. I pretty much have those about even there, I think. Or close enough, but we see how tiny that little knife is there. All right. Let's give a few more comparisons there. We can try to see, how big the 5-inch Hunter is to something like this here. This is a Buck 119. You can see there's quite a bit of difference. But with the case knives here, we definitely have a good mirror polish. Everything's actually quite nice there, as you can see. Not much listed as their steel, being the surgical stainless steel, which usually when you hear that, you run the opposite direction. But from what I understand, it's a good steel that sharpens pretty easily in the field and doesn't have too much problems, in terms of maintaining an edge and stuff like that, holding on to it for a while you process your game. One thing I didn't particularly care for is it might be very, very difficult to see. Maybe you can, but that tip is very rounded off. Very rounded off. And it doesn't look like anything broke, obviously, or nothing's jagged on it. That tip is extremely smooth right there. So that's not good. I'm not sure how well that would even puncture into hide. I mean, I'm pressing down on that harder than I would on really most any knife. So that's no good. So unfortunately, being a small knife like that, and what its purpose was for its design and everything, not having a nice needle point on that is not going to help you with small game, bird and trout style stuff, for that matter. And probably even opening a package of food around a campfire might have a difficult time stabbing through some thicker plastic wrap and stuff like that. Another thing I don't particularly like, we'll look at this one, give a reference here. I don't see any location here where this was peened, or even threaded on, like a pommel nut. So I have an older, much older vintage case knife. And let's take a look at this sheath here. So here's an older one. This knife's been through it. All right, look at that. Look at that. Nice knife there. But let's look at that. Well, what do you know? All right. And from what I've seen from other ones as well, the tang goes through the pommel. If it's not, at the very least, I would like to see it like the Buck 119, as you can faintly see right there. There's the pin. All right. Well, some people might say, hey, you know what? It's not really that big of a deal. It's a light duty knife, and it is a light duty knife. But I'll tell you this much: I always test things when I get them. All right. And those tests involve me. When I first get the knife, of course, I line that baby up and see everything good. Does everything look right? Is that tip on center? Is the blade centered? Then I do that all around the knife. I figure you just took it out of the package, right? How's the edge look? Well, I tell you, this edge is real toothy. Real toothy. Probably the most toothiest edge I've ever got from a knife company. I've never had anything that toothy. Huge nasty burr on that. When I got it, I even hit it on the paddle strap a few times. Did nothing. Even hit it a couple licks with a ceramic rod. Did nothing. That burr is on there, and unfortunately, it's probably going to take some of the edge with it when it does come off. But once again, could be easily fixed, right? Here's the main problem. While inspecting this knife, like I said, I push on things, give a little to the guard there, I want to make sure nothing's loose, right? Before I start using it, I want to make sure that everything's tight. So, whether I'm, doing out a deer or want to shave a tent peg, I know that things are held together good. Upon inspecting it, I found this. And you can hear this. Hear that? I'm not really reefing that hard on it. Listen again. So that is not good. Not sure if you were able to hear that or not, but not a very good thing for case knives. The reason I went with case knives is I typically don't really have many of their fixed blades, and I definitely don't really use any currently. And seeing that my father has a lot of case pocket knives, I wanted to go with case to keep that going. I am also a fan of stacked leather for sure. And I figured, I would get something like him, just a little bit bigger. Excuse me. Well, case is out of the question now, unfortunately. If I could see where the tang came through or a pin of some sort, I might say, hey, you know what? It's probably just a one-off. But I don't see anything there. And I'm sorry, but that's not really a good build style, I feel, for a good American-made fixed blade. Why did we go backwards here, Case? I would like to know. Why aren't we putting them through there anymore? I mean, I could probably tell you. It probably has something to do with time and money, but that's not a good place to cut corners, So these are my observations. I would say otherwise the knife would probably serve you quite well out there. I don't think these knives like this would have any problem, like I had said briefly earlier, cutting a tent peg doing anything like that. Definitely butchering out heavy, large game. This is not going to be an issue whatsoever. Unfortunately, like I stated, this having a beautifully polished, rounded off tip, if you can sense my sarcasm. And this one has a, lovely, almost removable tang. Or I don't know what would happen to that if I kept using it. So I decided to, I'm going to send these back, but I did want to do a quick review on it just in case anybody is curious on buying them and wants to see, what these knives, size-wise, maybe comparing them to different things here. Let me sort of move this. I'll even put like a Leatherman next to it there. You can sort of see you can see the size of something like that, right? But I'll be getting 2 Buck Model 102 Woodsmans very soon. That's what I decided to go with for my father, and I also got myself one. Cherry wood and Cocobolo, one with brass and one with the aluminum garden pommel. So I'm excited to see those. I did want to try case. I wanted to try something else, but it didn't quite work out, and I'm very hesitant to go with this type of build here, where I don't know exactly how that's secured in that pommel. But I know that Buck builds a very durable knife. Very easy to sharpen, holds a great edge. 420 HC steel. I have never had one single issue with that steel. That steel to me is great for an outdoorsman. Very easy to sharpen, so you're not afraid to use the heck out of it because you know you can sharpen that thing right back up in 20 seconds. And their handle components are sturdy as can be and put together very, very solidly. Anyone who's tried to take the handle off of a Buck knife can probably, attest to what I'm saying about the durability of Buck. Even though it's a hidden tang, I tell you, if you're breaking a Buck knife, I don't know if this whole bushcraft knife and outdoor thing is for you, if that's what's happening. But in any event, thank you very much for watching, and I really hope I didn't steer anyone, away from case. But just be aware, these are some of the things you could get. As I said, the whole pommel thing worries me a little bit. Something like the rounded tip could easily pass quality control. I get it. Sometimes things happen. This blade is perfect other than this, and I suspect this could be a problem in the future. So I'm opting to go with the Buck 102 Woodsman. Any of you have any of your own stories to tell or anything like that to add? I'd love to read about it in the comments, but thank you for watching and take care.